Welcome back to Augmented Voices, where we like to explore how AI is shaping the way we work and live. And today, we're going deep on a topic that's both exciting and a little bit unsettling. AI is blurring the lines between the digital world and the real world.
It's almost like science fiction is becoming reality right in front of us.
Exactly. We've got three big examples to unpack today, starting with something that, well, it might sound like a dream for anyone who hates back-to-back meetings.
Oh, you mean digital avatars?
Digital avatars, yeah.
When I first heard about this, I was skeptical, but the more I learned about Pickle AI's approach, the more I got interested. Imagine this, right? You're late for a meeting. Instead of scrambling to join on your phone while holding your coffee in your briefcase, your digital twin, looking and sounding just like you, steps in for you.
Okay, so that does sound pretty convenient, but
Right.
isn't it just a super advanced voicemail? What about the nuances of human interaction? The body language, the subtle cues, the things that go beyond just words.
That's the big question, isn't it? Some people argue that this tech could actually make workplaces more inclusive, allowing people with disabilities or those who aren't comfortable on camera to participate more fully. But then there's also a bunch of ethical questions, right?
Oh, right.
For example, could using avatars all the time lead to less real human connection? Or even create new forms of bias if the avatars are built from limited data sets?
It makes you wonder, are we getting so obsessed with efficiency and convenience that we're forgetting the value of real face-to-face interaction?
Yeah, it's like we're outsourcing our presence.
Exactly.
And it's not just meetings either. Think about the implications for things like education, healthcare, even personal relationships.
Yeah.
As avatars get more and more sophisticated, are we going to reach a point where we prefer interacting with these digital versions instead of actual people?
That's a pretty deep question. But before we go too far down that road, let's move on to something that's already making waves in the tech world. Microsoft Copilot's new recall feature.
Ah, yes. This one's all about AI becoming like our digital memory bank. Basically, Copilot Recall uses this combination of local data indexing and AI pattern recognition to remember what you've done on your computer in the past, and then help you find information really quickly. So, if you can't remember where you saved a file or what website you were looking at last week, Copilot can rewind for you.
It's like having a personal assistant who writes down everything you do online. That could be incredibly useful. But the privacy implications are pretty big, right?
Oh, absolutely. Even though Microsoft says that all the data processing happens locally on your device, there's still the question of, well, how much access are we willing to give to AI?
Yeah.
To our digital lives, I mean. It's not just work files. It's our browsing history, our personal messages, even our deleted files.
It makes you think about trust. Are we comfortable with AI knowing so much about us, even if it's just to make things easier?
And it gets even more complicated when you consider the potential for misuse. What if this tech falls into the wrong hands? Could it be used to track us or even manipulate our behavior?
Yeah, those are some scary possibilities. It seems like every time AI takes a step forward, we need to take a step back and look at the potential downsides.
Exactly. It's about finding a balance between innovation and responsibility.
But let's not dwell on the negative too much. Our next topic is pretty exciting, even if it is mind-blowing.
Oh, you mean ChatGPT's new visual AI capabilities?
Yeah, that's the one. This is where things start to feel truly futuristic. We've all heard about how ChatGPT can use language, but now it can see and understand the world around it, through a live camera feed, no less.
Can you imagine? You're trying to fix a leaky faucet, but you don't know where to start. With ChatGPT's visual AI, you could point your phone at the faucet, and the AI could tell you what's wrong, and even walk you through fixing it.
That would be amazing, especially for people who aren't exactly DIY experts. But there must be some pretty big technical challenges, right?
Oh, definitely. Processing live video takes a lot of computing power, and there are limitations in terms of accuracy and how fast it can respond.
And let's not forget about security. Giving AI access to live video from our homes and workplaces, that opens up a whole new set of concerns about privacy and how the data might be misused.
That's a great point. As AI gets more and more integrated with our physical world, we have to be super careful. We need to make sure these technologies are being developed and used responsibly.
It's a lot to think about. But that's what makes this so interesting. It's not just about the tech itself. It's about how we choose to use it and shape its future as a society.
I completely agree. It's up to us to decide how AI will impact our lives.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from digital avatars to AI that can see and understand the world around us. But there's still more to discuss.
Picking up where we left off, This whole thing about AI getting so personal, it really makes you think about human connection, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like a huge shift is happening in how we interact, not just with technology, but with each other.
It's this idea of presence that I find fascinating. Like if our avatars are at meetings for us, or if we're relying on AI to fix problems in real time, are we really there in those moments? Or are we just getting more and more disconnected from the physical world?
That's such a good point. It makes me think about things like empathy and social skills.
Mhm.
If we're spending more time with machines, are we going to lose some of that ability to connect with other humans on a deeper level?
It's definitely something to consider, as we design and develop these AI systems, we need to make sure they're helping us connect, not replacing those connections altogether.
For sure. But we can't forget that AI can also bridge distances and connect people in ways that weren't possible before.
That's true. Think about remote collaboration, telemedicine, even just staying in touch with family and friends who live far away. AI could help us break down those physical barriers.
It's all about finding the right balance, right? Using the power of AI,
Yeah.
but not losing those essential human interactions.
Absolutely. And speaking of balance, let's talk about our last topic for today. This battle of the AI assistants that's going on. It seems like every big tech company wants a piece of the pie. Apple, Amazon, Google, they're all pouring money into their AI platforms.
Like a digital arms race, isn't it? Everyone's trying to have the best features, the best capabilities.
One thing we're seeing is this move toward more conversational AI. AI that's more personalized, too. Remember when we used to talk to Siri or Alexa with simple commands? Those days are over. These new AI models, like the large language models, the LLMs, they can understand and respond to us in a much more sophisticated way.
So instead of saying, Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes, we'll be having actual conversations with our AI assistants. Like, hey Siri, remind me to get milk on my way home from work. And how's the traffic looking?
Exactly. And these AI assistants are getting more integrated into everything.
Right, our phones, our cars, our homes, our workplaces.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what's next. Will we end up with one AI assistant that runs our entire lives?
It's possible, but then it brings up all these questions about privacy and control. Who owns all that data? And how can we be sure it's being used ethically?
These are important questions to ask as we navigate all these changes. But one thing's certain, AI is only going to get more personal and more intertwined with our lives. And that's both exciting and a little bit scary, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's a time of huge opportunity, but it's also a time to be thoughtful and have real conversations about this technology. We need to make sure we're shaping this future in a way that benefits everyone.
I agree. Well, we've covered a lot in this deep dive, from digital avatars to AI that can see and understand the world. It's time to wrap things up, but before we go, let's recap some of the key things we've talked about. It feels like we're at a real turning point with all this,
Yeah, for sure. We've been talking about how AI is blurring the lines between the digital and the physical, and it brings up so many questions about work, about relationships, about what it means to be human, even.
Right, like with those digital avatars. At first, they seem like a pretty handy way to deal with busy schedules,
True.
But then you start thinking, are we losing something important when we send our digital selves to meetings instead of going ourselves?
Exactly.
Where's the line between efficiency and actually being present with other people?
It's that balance between convenience and the bigger picture that keeps coming up, like
Yeah.
with Microsoft's recall feature. Being able to find anything you've ever done on your computer, that's amazing for productivity, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But knowing that AI could have that whole record of our digital lives, that's kind of creepy, to be honest.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's like we want the good stuff that AI can do, but we also have to be aware of the potential downsides,
Right.
the privacy issues, the risk of becoming too dependent on technology.
And then there's ChatGPT and its new visual AI. That one feels like a huge leap forward.
It does.
Imagine anyone could be an expert on anything just by pointing their phone and getting step-by-step instructions from AI. The possibilities are incredible, especially for fields like healthcare or education.
That again, could that lead to fewer human experts?
True.
What about AI making decisions in critical situations, like medical diagnoses or complicated repairs?
So many things to think about.
I know.
I think what's important for everyone listening is to realize that AI isn't some far-off thing anymore. It's here, it's changing fast, and it's already having a big impact on our lives.
So we need to stay informed, ask the tough questions, and talk about where we want this tech to go.
Because ultimately, the future of AI is up to us.
Well said. That's about all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us on Augmented Voices.
It's been a pleasure, Anna.